G'day folks, in this video I'll show how you can solve the crazy unicorn earth. Now this earth puzzle is quite the challenge. It's certainly a big step up from Mercury. It's solved in the same sort of way, but the problem with it is getting the inner circle edge base pieces into position. And that's because on the earth cube we have a green face and a white face, which are one faces, so those center parts turn with the face. All of the other faces are zero faces. So that's how the earth is configured. And because of the difficulty, certainly with the first part of it, I'm going to take it very slow and I'm going to be really meticulous and do things in a very specific order. So let's get started on firstly placing, I guess, what I'm calling the circle edge bases. And it's sort of returning it to the shape of the puzzle, but even after this stage, it won't quite be there. It'll be close. So what is a circle edge base? Well, you can see two circle pieces here, the orange and the green. And one of them, I don't know how to describe the difference, but because they both kind of have two straight lines, the orange one has a straight line there and a straight line going up that. The green one has a straight line here and a straight line going up there, and they both have curves. I guess the difference, if any, is that the orange piece is slightly smaller, and I suppose the curved part on this green piece is certainly longer. So the circle edge bases are the ones like the orange. They have a straight line next to here and they have the smaller curved part. They are the pieces we are going to currently look at. Now, they're the ones we want to place, and our aim at the end of this stage is to get 4 pieces like that around each center on each face. So we're going to place 24 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So the very first thing that I want to do is to orient the green face if it is not already done. Now the yellow is automatically oriented because that can't turn, as is the blue, as is the orange, as is the red. The green is not, because that could be wrong. Neither is the white. We're not concerned with that yet. But the green we certainly are concerned with. And in order to have them correctly oriented, all faces must point towards a common corner. So you can see this green, that's wrong. That needs to be turned something like that. Now you can see by doing that, I've magically put in a piece there. It was not intentional, but I guess we'll take it because that green is now pointing to the correct corner. That's not a bad little thing, just to say that is the kind of piece we are trying to place. All right, now in order to place the yellows, what we normally want to do is have a look on the lower face, or get the pieces to the lower face, the white face, and move them up. So I'm going to hold the yellow at the top. I'm essentially keeping the green at the back, if you like, most of the time, and the white on the bottom. This bottom face allows me to turn pieces around. So I can see 2 yellow pieces here. That one there is the one we're interested in. It has the smaller curved part. That one, no. Okay, so this piece here, will it turn up to where it belongs? I can test it and I can see, no, that's not going to. So I'm going to need to just turn it around. If it doesn't turn up to there and it's the correct piece type, I'll turn it around and it will certainly turn onto that other one. So that's 2 pieces placed. There's no more on this face, so I've got to go and find where they are. There's one of them. So at this stage, because I haven't done anything else, I can actually just turn that up. That's no problem. The 4th one, let's find that. It's sitting here. Now this is a bit trickier because you would automatically think, oh, well, I'll just move this up. I'll turn that around and bring it down. But obviously it does not turn because this is a zero face. So what we need to do is initially to move this across to the green face, because I know that I can move it on the green face. Now, I'd like to cycle it around and put it down on the white face here. So I bring that up, turn it around, undo. You'll notice that yellow piece has not moved. And I undo that and it puts it back. And that's the nice thing about having these zero faces on the side when we do this. Okay, so I just need to go and turn it on the white face, find where it belongs, and turn it up. So those 4 yellow pieces are done. So we've oriented the green corner, we've placed the yellows. Next, what we want to do is just for the orange, blue, and red, we want to place the side pieces. There are 2 side pieces in the middle layer. So I'm not talking about these ones, top and bottom. I'm talking about, for example, that one there, which happens to be currently placed. Okay, we'll take that. Now, what we would generally do is have a look on the white face and see if we can find any pieces that might be appropriate. The first thing is it has to be the correct piece type. So that orange is the correct piece type. That one is not. So we'll give that a try. The other thing is, it may well be that this orange piece actually goes top and bottom, not sides. And I can test it just by turning it up and saying, hey, that does actually go into that position. So that is one that I need. So in order to get it there, I'm just going to turn it off, bring its position down onto the white face, undo, undo. And what that will do is ensure that any yellow pieces that I have already placed remain placed. Now I reckon that is the other orange because that's going to travel to there and then up to that position. So in the same way, I can turn that to the white face, put it on, undo, undo. Okay, the 2 oranges are done. Ignore green, don't need them. There's a red. Do we have a red down here? No, I don't. What about blues? You can see I've got blue pieces there, but they're clearly not the correct one. So let's just check what I've got. I do have a blue piece sitting there. So the first thing to do would be just to turn that white face and see, does it belong in that position? And no, it doesn't. So that piece is a top and bottom piece. That's not going to help. Where are the blues? Let's go have a look. There is certainly one there that may be the correct piece, and I can check that by just turning it across to this blue face. And because that does not belong on the top, it must be one of the side pieces. Okay, so that blue piece, which I found, I need to get to the white face. So I'm going to bring it down as before. There it is. Let's see if now we can go and place it in position. So that can go up to there. I'll turn the white face, position down, put it on, and return it. Okay, it's not that one. There'll be another one somewhere that goes on the blue face. And I think we also had a red one to do as well. So let's just find this blue one. There is a blue piece here. Okay, once again, I turn it and I see it does not belong on the top. Therefore, it must belong on the side. So this is the one I want. I cannot move it on the orange face. The only way I can get it out of that position is to turn it across to the green face temporarily and then bring it down to the white face. Now I will undo that turn there. At this stage, it's not strictly necessary, but it becomes very necessary pretty soon. So I'm just going to get into that habit. All right, I think it was that one. And you can see that's the same type of piece as that. So it definitely will go there. So let's turn the position down, put the blue on, undo, undo. Right, let's check the yellows. All 4 yellows are still where they should be. The 2 blues are done. The 2 oranges are done. I've got a red to do over here. Certainly not that one. Could it be this one or this one? Well, let's turn this top one across to the red face. Well, clearly it can't be that top one. I can follow this around and say that top one would go there. So this is the other type of piece. So I reckon this is the correct red one. So I will bring this down to the white face. That's sitting there on the white face now. Let's see if we can get that. That will go to there and there. So that does look like the correct one. So we'll place that red piece. Okay, so 2 reds, 2 blues, 2 oranges, 4 yellows. So far, so good. The next thing that we must do is to orient the white face. And you can see at the moment it is not oriented because I don't have that arrow pointing to the same corner that the blue and red are pointing towards. So initially, I'm just going to turn it like that to get that oriented. The reason is that we are now going to place the lower parts on the red, blue, and orange faces. I don't actually care about that upper part yet. I may need to use that for the lower part. So let's go ahead and work out how we're going to do it. The problem that we're going to have is that if we use the green face, or sorry, not the green face, the white face to involve our turns, it is going to end up knocking out some of the yellow pieces. So we have to be very specific here. So I'm going to demonstrate with this red piece here because that is the same type as that which will belong there. So I know that this one will go into this position at the bottom. What I must do when I'm solving these bottom pieces is first turn that bottom position across to the green face as a setup move. Now that that's there, I can go ahead and cycle my desired piece, whether it's here, here, somewhere else up the top, onto that position by turning the yellow face and the green face, but not turning the white face. And just to be clear, you just saw me turn the white face. What am I talking about? Well, it's fine to do that as a setup move to put the position there, but when I'm doing the 3 cycle, no. So let's cycle the green to the red to the white, get that red in that position where it belongs. So yellow face, front 2 or left 2, undo, undo. Okay, that's done. The red's there. When I return my white face, that red has placed into its position. And because I already had that one there, you can see I now have all 4 of those reds done. Okay, I need to now find the blue piece and the orange piece that belongs there. Let's firstly have a look. I think that orange piece is the correct one. I can sort of tell because if I turn it to there, it definitely goes there. All right, so that is the correct piece. And it's currently sitting on the blue face. So what I'm going to do is note that that's piece 1, that's going to be piece 2, and piece 3 is going to be the position. So I'll turn the position across to the green face and now turn my green and yellow faces so that I get this orange piece into there. So the way I would do that is to put the position on, turn the yellow face, undo, undo, and then when I turn my white face back into orientation, that orange has placed and that red one is still in position. And of course, the yellows are still there and that green is still correctly oriented. Okay, so the orange is done, the red is done. The last one here is the blue. Is there a blue at the top? There's no blue at the top. So the blue piece that I need will either be on the white face or it will be in the green face somewhere. It's clearly not in the green face. Must be in the white face. Now, in order to get that piece available, let's just firstly see which one it's going to be. I reckon it's going to be this one here. In fact, either of those pieces will do the job. So I first need to get that blue piece onto the green face in one of these positions. So let's have a think. First of all, I'd like to get it there. And that's the piece that I want to get. Just going to, in fact, both of them are the correct piece, so that's good. So what I'm going to do, in fact, because I could get that piece or that piece, it's going to be easier to get this piece here. I'm going to do a setup of the green face. That is where I want my blue piece to land, because I'm going to turn it onto there and then undo this setup, put it at the top. So that's the setup. Now let's basically go and place that blue piece onto there in the normal manner that I would do. So I've done those moves and then I'll undo the setup. Now, every time I do this sort of thing, I will always check. See, have I inadvertently mucked anything up? I don't think I have on the red. The orange looks good. I'm still doing the blue. Everything looks oriented. So we are all good. That blue piece is there ready to go. Now, I must turn the position of the blue face, or where this blue piece is going, across to the green face. Now, I can just do this to this to this in order to place that blue piece on there. All right. Now that that's done, I'll undo those setups. Let's put the orange back. It's put the blue in and the red is now in. Everything else that I had done is still done. Fantastic. The next thing that I want to do is now place the upper parts of the orange, blue, and red. You can see the red's already done. Where can they be? Well, they could be on the upper parts of these other bits. I don't care about green, so that doesn't concern me. That doesn't concern me. And I don't have any on that face. So where else could they be? There's no oranges here. It looks like I'm going to find an orange on the white face. And indeed, that is the piece I want. So once again, I want to get that orange piece onto the green face before I start. And it'd be nice to have it here. That's probably the easiest thing. So I'm going to bring it from the white face onto that position. Just with that standard sort of move, you'll notice it hasn't disrupted anything we've done. Now, in the same way, I must use the green face now to place that orange piece into that top position. So this time, instead of turning the required piece down to the bottom to place in the bottom, I want to turn things so that we sort of go this to this to this, so that the orange lands over there. So essentially, I'm going to undo that, or I'm going to move that out the way, put the position onto the green face, undo, undo. Okay, so that orange top piece is done and that face is finished. Let's see if we can find the blue. There is a blue here, which must be the correct blue because there's only one to go. So again, I'm going to put that on the green face, and I'll do this in stages because it's just simpler. I'll firstly turn it to here, and then I'll turn it up to this position. And each time I do that, nothing that I have already done is being disturbed. There's my blue piece, needs to go across there. So once again, I'll move it down to here first, bring that position across, undo, undo. Okay, that's good. The blue's done. That red was already done. So we now have red, blue, and orange completely completed, as also the yellow. That only leaves us green and white. Now the green and white are a little bit simpler, so we're certainly on the last legs of this stage. And what we want to do is to firstly get the top and bottom pieces of the green and white faces, just because they are slightly trickier. So as an example, I'll see that this green piece here clearly must turn around to there. That's going to be a top piece. So I'm just going to cycle it around using this piece, and this piece to place it in that position. Just turning white and green. Here we go. Green's done. Note that nothing here has been touched. Nothing up here has been touched. We're only moving around pieces on the green and white face. All right. What about this position? I have a green piece there. Is that the one? No, because that will go to there. So it in fact must be this piece here. So again, I could do this in stages if I want. I could firstly turn it to there. And I could then go and place that into its position by involving this piece as well. Okay, so that's the two greens, top and bottom, done. That white one is done. I would like to do this white one now as well. And that is that piece there. So I can turn its position, put the white on, undo, undo. And I'm now left with just the side pieces. And what I almost always find is this situation. One is done here, one is done here, and I have what looks like a swap. It looks as though that green piece has to go there and the white piece has to come here. Well, because they are on the sides, they are in the same sort of orbit, and so really I can just cycle the green to here, this green over to there, and the white will come back to here. So that's how I finish this off. and you can see all the green and the white pieces are done. And in fact, every piece on every face that we were trying to do is now complete. So that is the trickiest stage, in my opinion, of this puzzle. It's not to say that it suddenly becomes super simple, because it doesn't, but if that stage can't be done properly, the rest is not going to happen. Okay, so we have got our circle bases placed. What we want to do now is place the edge bases, the outer edge bases. In other words, for example, there's a green and a red circle pair of bases. There must be a green-red outer, like this blue-yellow, that belongs there. That's the sort of thing I'm trying to place. Now, I don't want to turn the white or the green face when I am placing my pieces. I can turn them for setups, but I don't want to involve them in a 3-cycle, and I'll demonstrate why now. Let's say that I wanted to place a piece and I'll turn the red and the white face. Let's say I did something like this. You'll notice straight away that that white piece has come out of where it belongs. And in fact, so has the blue piece. It's all been skew-if. And that is because, and I've just got to now think, let me just think how I've got to get this back now. That white has to land there. That's a white, so that one's going to there. Okay, switch my brain on, everything's good. That is because we involved the white face in those turns. So what I like to do normally is to try and get firstly the white-green, because that is the piece between these two faces that I can't turn. So it's generally the trickier piece. Let's have a look. The white-green is sitting down here. Now what I can do as a setup is to turn that white face across to there, and then just turn the yellow and the orange in order to move the white-green into its correct position. So 1, 2, 3 pieces. Note that I'm just turning the orange and the yellow face there. So as I do that, it's not knocking anything out. When I undo my setup, everything comes back to where it should be, and that white-green is placed. I would then normally work my way around the white face. So white orange, white blue, white red. Let's see what's what. I've got, there's the white blue. That is also with the white on the bottom. So what I can do here is simply turn that piece down to the bottom on the blue face, which is fine. Turn it around on the yellow face, undo, undo. And as long as I do all 4 moves, I'm totally fine. And you'll notice that as I'm placing these pieces, the structure of the triangle is starting to take shape. And that's what will happen when I've completed this. It will be returned to the correct shape that I want. Okay, where's the next one? There's a white-orange here. Now that can be placed into its position because I can turn the orange face to get its position down, turn the blue face to put it on, and then undo, undo. That one's done. And you can see now I have a turnable triangle there. That's the thing we're aiming for. The last one was the white-red. Got to find it. Okay, it's over here. Let's see what would make sense. Probably what I think would make sense is to actually get it so the white is on the bottom. So I'll turn it to the bottom, then use the yellow face to turn it off, and then undo, undo. My white red's over here now. I can move its position down, put it on, undo, undo. Okay, so all my white edge bases are done. I would now look to place 3 middle layer ones, and of course I would like to place the green orange and the green red first. Let's have a look. There's the green orange. Is it correctly oriented? We'll be able to tell because we can temporarily turn it like that and see that yes, that will go into its correct position. So the way that I need to do it to not turn the green face, bring the orange face up, put it on, undo, undo. That one's done. Green, red. Okay, it's over here. So let's first of all get it out of the position, just turn it up to the blue face. Sorry, that's the yellow face. And let's now see if I turn that on, would it go into its position correctly? Yes, it would. So that's all good. Now I need one more over here, blue orange or blue red, doesn't matter. And I can happily get that blue red over to here with a normal 3 cycle. So that's 3 middle layer edges done. I now use this 4th one to try and place these 2 at the back, which are yellow green and yellow red. Well, I can see the yellow red needs to flip over into its position there. So I will just set up like that and then flip it over using down, down. In fact, let me just undo all of that thought. It does not need to flip over at all. It needs to just turn across. So I will simply turn it across into position and then bring that one up. Okay. That's now been placed. Yellow green needs to go here. It's in that position, so we'll put that on. And what that's going to leave us is the last 3 in some sort of configuration. Now, you could have a 3 cycle, you could have them solved, you could have 2 in position that need to be flipped. You could also have this situation where one is placed, the other 2 actually need to swap. And that's what we're going to look at now, is how to swap these 2 outer edge bases. You can see everything else is looking really good. And in fact, all the corners are turnable, but these need to be swapped over. So what we want to do here is turn a side face. I would generally turn the blue face because it's furthest away from the green. Turn it 1 turn and then resolve the circle edge bases. So let's say that I turn this 1 turn. That's now fixed that problem. The first thing that I'd like to do is replace that white into that position. Now, that means the white's got to go to here. Now, I'm going to use the white face to do it because that's the one that will actually rotate things. So that white piece needs to go to here. What I might actually do is say, because the white face is the one that's turning, I'll probably place that white one last, to be honest. I've got to place the orange back into here and the yellow back into there. So let's say that yellow goes to orange, goes to, well, it doesn't really matter, but yellow is going to go to orange. So I'll firstly bring them up as a setup like that and turn the yellow onto the orange and just use another white piece to fix it. Undo that setup. So that yellow is done. I've still got the orange to do. I've got this red to do. So let's firstly take care of the red piece. So I'm going to make the red piece go across to here and I'll use the orange to do it. Okay, that red is done. So the red's been fixed. The yellow's been fixed. Now what have I got? The white, the orange, and this other white. So clearly I'm going to cycle that white, or this orange is going to go down to here. That white is going to have to come back to there. Now I can't involve this one because it's not on the correct line. So instead, what I'm going to need to do is involve this white. You can see that white turns up to there and that orange turns up to there. So it's a little bit like a swap. So what I'll do is involve this white, this orange, and this white here. Yes, it is going to involve the white green, but I'm going to put it back straight away. So this will complete the circle edge bases. Which direction do I need to go? White to orange to white. Okay, you can see that the circle edge bases are back where they should be. The green hasn't been touched. Let's get the white green edge base done. And to do that, I'll move its position across to the orange face and now just bring that piece across to there like so. Then I'll undo that turn. That's all back to where it should be. So again, have I got the white pieces done? I've got this white blue that I now need to find and place. Let's just bring it to the yellow face initially, like so. I can now go turn that on. Oop. I don't want to do that because the white is here, so I'll just turn it up using that same routine I did before. Okay, all the white edge bases are back in. 1, 2, 3. I've actually got 4 of them now. And as a matter of fact, you can see that every other edge base has now been dealt with. So I think we had before the yellow orange and the yellow blue were swapped. You can see by doing that, it swaps them over to where they belong. And sometimes you'll end up with them solved. Other times it'll be just a normal kind of 3-cycle thing to get them done. Now the next stage of the solve is to deal with the little triangles. So we get the entire center part done. That yellow triangle is done, that one is not. So what I'm going to do, I must use the green and white face to do this because they will rotate the triangles around, the other faces won't. So I would basically look and see where are the triangles I need. I've got a blue triangle sitting here, which I could happily use this white face to place it. So I always must do 180-degree turns, turn that corner, put the blue on, undo. That's fairly straightforward. Here I've got an orange, and that will go into this position. Now I could do the greens. I'm not too concerned about that yet because I need to take care of the other faces first. So let's get this orange onto the orange face. Okay, there's a yellow here that I can place, which of course brings out the red that I need. Now that I think is blue, red, yellow and orange done. So that just leaves us white and green. And of course they will easily place at the end. Okay, so that little mini stage is done. The next thing I want to do is check whether we have a single twisted corner. And if we do, fix it now, as it's much easier to do now. What we're going to have to do is basically just get 4 white corners into the white face, into their positions on the white face. In other words, I want to solve 4 white corners. Now what I'm going to do is use the corner piece series to do that. It's fairly straightforward. It's the same thing I'm going to use at the end, and I just want to go, how can I get these white corners into their positions as quickly as possible? Got the white, orange, green coming to here, and that white, blue, red can go across to there. So I'll just cycle those 3 first of all, and any faces can be turned. It doesn't matter what color they are. All the edges will come back to where they should be. That's in place. That's in place. It doesn't matter if it's oriented or not. That's white, green, red. I will cycle that one across. I don't really want to use this one actually because I'd like that one to go over there. So I might take care of this white, blue, orange first and cycle it like that. That one's done. Now I can take care of the white, green, red with that sort of cycle. Okay, now as I said, it's not essential to get the whites on top. What I really need now is just to look at the overall twists. So these are all correctly oriented. This one has been twisted anti-clockwise. So let's say that's a -1. On the yellow face, they are good. That one is anti-clockwise and that one is clockwise. So on this yellow face, everything is fine. It's just this particular corner here. Overall, we now have 1 corner twisted anti-clockwise. So in order to fix that, I need to twist a corner clockwise. It can be any corner that's actually twistable. So I can't twist this one because there's no way I can do it. Any other one I can twist as long as I have the ability to replace triangles on it. And I think on this puzzle, in fact, I can't even twist that. So any other corner, That would be the only one that I would not want to twist because I cannot replace the triangles and not untwist it. So let's have a look. I'll use this one here. I'm going to twist that corner clockwise, and you can see that's definitely fixed the problem because I've got one anti-clockwise, one clockwise. Same here. We will now not encounter that single twisted corner at the end. What I want to do is replace these triangles. So the first one I'll replace is the blue, and I'll do that in the same way that I did before. I'll turn it off, turn the corner to put its position up. Now that's twisted it. However, when I put it back, I twist it the other way. So it's all fine. And then the orange will go here, same thing, untwist. Everything is totally fine. We're going to be good at the end. Now let's have a look. Just make sure that everything is back where it should be here. Yes, that's all good. All the corners are in place and all the edge bases are in place. Okay, now the next stage is we want to solve the remaining circle pieces, these pieces here. And this is a relatively long-ish stage, and we're going to do it logically again. We need to use the white face and an orange, a blue, or a red face. What I don't want to use is the white face and the green face because it will knock out things that we don't want to knock out. So let me demonstrate. First of all, I'm going to see I've got a yellow up the top here, and you can see that that needs to be filled with a yellow, that little red piece there. So I'll turn that up, and I'm trying to move this yellow across to where the red is. Note that that is not a circle edge base like that one. It's a different type of piece. So how am I going to do it? Well, I've got the white face and the red face I can use, or the orange and the white, whatever suits. And I note that the yellow is going to go to the red, and then I can use either this green piece or this orange piece because both of them will turn up into the position of that red. Like that. I could also use the pieces over here. So in other words, whatever turns up to that yellow position, that blue one or the orange one. Makes no difference. I'll probably use the orange one because I haven't done it yet. If I had a yellow one sitting over here, I would use that because I'd like the yellows on the top for now. So I'll use this orange piece, and here's what I want to do. Cycle the yellow across to the red to the orange, and the orange back to the yellow. Now, because this yellow is going across the face first, I want to do my face turns first and then my corner turn. So here we go. To get the yellow across to there, I want to turn white, red, white, red. Now that 3 cycles, those pieces to there and these pieces down to the bottom and those bottom pieces up to the top. Now that I've done that, I'm going to move this orange corner up just to bring that yellow piece out of the way. I'm going to undo my face turns, and then I'll undo my corner turn, and you can see that that yellow piece joins with where it belongs. Obviously I had a setup, so I undo that setup, I come down there and that yellow piece has been placed. That's the general technique. Now let's see where the other yellow pieces are. I've still got 1, 2, 3 to go. The next one that's probably the simplest one is this one because that can turn up to this sort of line. So I'll just check, do I have one to place here? Yes, I do. So let's turn that up. This time I want to cycle orange to blue to yellow so that the yellow comes back to here. So I can turn the white and the blue face. Then turn that corner, then undo the face turns, undo the corner turn. Turn the yellows back down. We are done. Now, the next 2 yellow pieces, you'll notice one's at the lower part here and one's at the very lower part. And because of that, I need to get them up to the top face. So I'm going to jump ahead and show how I would deal with this piece here, which needs to be red. I do have a red piece there. I'm hoping it's the correct one, and I think it is. So when I come to these pieces, which will be next, what I need to do is turn them as a setup onto that bottom face. And then you guessed it, I can move it up to the top and put what I want there. Now remember that in actual fact, I'm trying to place a red onto that yellow piece. So there's my two setup moves. That red wants to go there. So then it's just a question of what other piece am I going to use? I could use the green, I could use the blue. Do I have something over here? It doesn't really matter because none of these have been done. So I'll just use red to yellow to orange. And white and blue are both, well, that's the one face, that's the zero face, so that's fine. Face turns, corner turn, undo face turns, undo corner turn. You'll notice that red piece has come back. I'll undo that setup and I'll undo that setup, and that red piece has in fact been placed. Now, where did the yellow piece go? Now it's up the top. So that's now usable in one of these regions. That one's done. So this one here is the one that I want to use. So I'm going to bring that up to the top. You'll notice that it has not disturbed that because this is a zero face. So now I think, well, I want to turn the yellow to the green to the orange. Because I'm turning the yellow to the green first, I do the corner turn first. And then I turn the orange onto that. So with my face turns. So corner turn first. Now orange goes onto here. Undo corner turn, undo face turns, and then undo that setup. And you can see that yellow has been placed. Now for the final yellow, I've showed how I'm going to do these ones. This is almost identical. It's clearly got to turn down to this region here. So I'll just go ahead and say I'm going to try and place an orange piece, and there is an orange piece there. It's a little bit trickier. So that yellow, that's a setup, that's going to come up to the top, but you can see it's going to knock that orange piece out. So I would just check, are there other orange pieces that I could use on this line? And I noticed that there is actually an orange piece right there that would be just fine. So that's what I'm going to do. Turn that up and now place the orange piece onto the yellow. I can involve this green piece as well. So because the orange is going to there, it's a corner turn first. Now I want to place the green piece across to here. And to do that, I can either turn white then orange, or I can turn red then white. Doesn't really matter. I'll stick with white then orange because that's what I've been doing so far. Now turn that corner back. Okay, that is all done. I'll undo that setup. You can see the orange comes back and places in that position, and that should have released the yellow up to the top. So now I can turn its position up and say, right, yellow goes to here. Where's that going to go? Let's use the green. That's done. Put it back down. All my yellow circle pieces have now been finished. Now, you can do them however you like. I just find it's much simpler if you work from the bottom up. So that's why I would next look at this green one and this orange one. I'd have a look at what's on top. There are greens and oranges on top, so either of them should be fine. So I'll turn that down, put it up the top and say that green's got to go there. How can I do it? Green to red. Yeah, that is a good one to do. Face turns, corner turn, undo face turns, undo corner turn, and then turn it down to the bottom, put it back into position. And you'll see that as you're doing this yourself, when you're not explaining it, it becomes very, very quick to carry this out. It's just a matter of looking at where the pieces go. That's got to be orange, so I turn it to there, turn it to the top. That's my orange. Is there another piece? That green. Boom. Now, this one, I don't want to turn white-green because they are both one faces. So to get that orange to there, I'm going to turn the blue face, then the white face. Then I will turn this corner turn and then undo my face turns. Undo my corner turn. Can't even remember which one I was doing. Was it the orange? Yes, I think it was. Setup's undone. They are taken care of. There's a blue here that I want to do. Is there a blue up the top? There's not on the top face, but let's see where this is going to travel. Across to there. Now, I do actually have a blue here, which could be used. So that's fine. So let's do that blue one. I'll say the white to the orange to the blue. So that blue comes up to there. So face turns first. Then bring the blue into the mix. And undo the face turns. And undo that corner turn. Now undo my setup. And undo that setup. And that blue has been done. All the lower layers are done. What about the next portion? I've got a green to do, I've got a red to do, and I've got a blue to do. Well, there's a green on the top. Let's see if we can take care of that one. Yes, green across to there, so I can use that orange as well. Now again, I don't want to turn white face and green face, so I'll turn blue and white. Now just let me ponder this, because what I'm doing here is the orange is going to the green. Then, in order to make this work, this piece needs to come over to the green. So once I turn my corner, I've got to turn the white face first to get this piece across to there. And I undo my corner turn, then undo those face turns. Okay. That is done. You can see when we undo the setups, that's nice. There's an orange up the top. I think we had one of them. No, a blue. Let's see if we can move this to the top. And is there a blue? There is a blue, because that blue can go to the white. So I've got to turn blue to white to green. So the first thing is my corner turn. I want to turn the green onto the blue with face turns, and I'll use these two faces. And I'll undo that corner turn, undo the face turns. Okay, that's all done. Return that to the bottom, return my corner, and that blue is in place. So that just leaves this red one to do. Now, there's no red up the top that I can see. There's one here which will probably work, but if not, I can use some of these. So let's take this down to the bottom, bring it to the top. Now that goes across to there, so that red certainly will be usable. So blue to white to red, face turns first. Then turn the red on and undo the face turns. And undo setups. And the whole lower half of the puzzle is now done in terms of the circle edges. One thing there to take care of that I had not done from somewhere else, presumably. So that is dealt with. Now, the upper half is done in really the same sort of way. It's just easier because there's no setups, really. So, for example, I would look on the top and say there's an orange here. That orange can go across to there. So I might go white to orange to green, for example. And so it's face turns first. And I'll go through these quicker because I'm sure you're getting the hang of it. This blue can go to, now that blue can go to there. This blue will need to come probably from across here. So what I'll do, just as a setup, I'll turn the position of that blue there. So that's got to receive a blue. So I'm going white to green to blue. I don't want to turn the green face as well. So I'll turn these two as my faces. Then I bring that blue piece in, undo face turns, undo the corner turn. And what was next? Just undo that initial setup and we're good. What does that leave us? White to blue to white. And as it happens, we're now done. We didn't really have that many on the top. If there were more on the top, they would be approached in precisely the same manner. So that's all of the circle parts now solved. The next stage is to solve the edge arrows, as I'm calling them. And this is done very similarly to what we just did. What I don't want to do is turn the white or the green face. So for the last lot, I wanted to avoid turning the green face. Now I need to avoid turning both the white and the green. So I'll do one to just demonstrate what I'm trying to do. Here's the red yellow that can go across to there. So I note that that can go and turn across to its position. I want to find a third piece that's along the face. So that's going to turn along the corner. Let's use this piece here. If I had a red blue over here, I would use that because it would go into that position. What I could also do, in fact, let's do this, red yellow to red white, which means the red yellow will place and the red white will also place. Now, because I don't want to turn the white face, I'm going to turn the red yellow onto its position first. Then I'm going to get the third piece across to there somehow. And that'll happen by turning the red face and the yellow face. When that's done, undo that corner turn and then undo the face turns. And you can see the red white has placed and that red yellow has placed. And more importantly, all the circle parts are still where they should be. The reason for that is because we did not involve either of the white or green faces. Now, being me, I would normally look to get the white-green done early on if I could. So that belongs there. What I would do here is actually turn the position up like that as a setup move. So I can avoid turning the green face now because I'm thinking I can move this piece to here, and the white-green will come back to there. That is the scenario I want to carry out. Undo that corner turn, and then when I undo that setup, that white-green is safely placed. Everything else is still where it should be as well. I've got a white-orange that I'd love to place, so that can be used. Again, I'm going to go white-orange to green-yellow to blue-orange, which means that blue-orange will come back to here, which is even better. So white-orange first, then I want to put the blue-orange onto there by turning faces. Undo my corner turn and undo my face turns. You can see they are both placed. And this actually doesn't take too long because there's not that many of them. We've just got to be careful not to turn the green faces. We've got a white blue here that can go across to there. That's an obvious one to use unless there's something more obvious, which there's not. So let's go orange yellow to white blue to blue yellow. So turn that across. Now I can turn these two faces to involve this third piece. Undo. Undo. And the white blue has been placed. What have I got now? I've only got about 5 to go, I think. The green yellow and the green orange. Let's have a look. The green yellow can go here. I've also got the green orange that wants to go there. I reckon I'm going to involve that green orange first. So I'm going to go yellow orange to here, green orange to here, red blue back to here as my first one. Don't want to turn the green face, so I'll turn the blue and the yellow faces to accomplish that. So firstly, yellow orange across to there. Then I want to involve this corner turn, then undo my face turns, and then undo my corner turn, and that safely gets that green-orange stored in. Now I'd like to get the green-yellow dealt with, and this may be the last 3 cycle or maybe not. Now I've got a green-yellow swapping with the orange-yellow, and I've got a red-blue swapping with the yellow-blue. So that, if I don't involve this, it'll leave a really nice 3 cycle at the end, which is what I want. I will absolutely get that green, yellow solved, or will I? If I solve the orange yellow, then the green yellow will still be sitting here. I think either way, I'm going to have to do a little bit of a setup at the end anyway. So let's go ahead and solve the green yellow first. So green yellow to here, and then I'll involve this piece as my third piece. Okay, that's done. 3 pieces to go. I did say I'd probably need to do a setup, so we'll set that up to there. I've got blue yellow to yellow orange to red blue. That one first, and then red blue's got to come across to there. Okay, all done. Undo that little setup, and all of those edge arrows have been done. So really similar to the previous section, just don't turn the white and the green face. The very last section now is to solve the corners. We kind of did a little bit of corner solving when we checked for a single twisted corner. So this is just more of the same. Any face will do. And I'll just go and, well, you can use whatever method you like to solve the corners. I, of course, will use the corner piece series. So I'm just looking for a corner to float down a side or across the back or something. What's next? Are they all in position? They're all in position, but twisted. So I'm just going to do a single cycle here to take them out of position. All right, let's see if that helps. That does help. So the red, white, blue can go to there. I'll involve this one as well to get this out of its position. And that will leave 3 corners. Now, that yellow, green, red will roll down the side, and I've got this white sticker that's either going to go to there, if they are my 3 pieces, or there, if I was to turn it round like that. So what I need to look at is the sticker color in the white face needs to land on one of those positions, if it can. Ah, there we go. Perfect. So because of that, I'm going to turn it around and say, that is my final 3 cycle. And of course, when I undo my setups, I find that I do not have a single twisted corner because we took care of that much earlier. So there it is, the crazy unicorn earth. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was helpful. And as always, thanks for watching.